What is this buildup going to amount to, if nothing less than regime change?
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for having me. Well, I think what we're seeing in Venezuela, it's a mix of different factors, right? It's a perfect mix of regional security, I think economic interests such as oil and minerals, and it's also a realpolitik situation in which the US administration is trying to topple the influence of Russia and China in the region as it has grown over the years. So I think it's a profound situation in which I think the US administration has a very significant interest of de-escalating the situation in terms of dealing with the Venezuelan regime, either for change or force it out.
Well, I'll tell you, the Russian angle on this fascinates me, but is there quiet support in the region at the idea of the U.S. toppling the Maduro regime?
I think, the Latin American region has a history of dealing with the Cold War intervention of the U.S. in the hemisphere, especially in this region. Where the regimes in Latin America, especially those on the left, have less to say. But I think at the end of the day, the real idea of helping Venezuela comes out from the regimes in Mexico and in Brazil and Colombia, is situation to be solved in a peaceful way. President Sheinbaum here in Mexico is a champion of non-intervention, but of course, no one wants the situation to escalate, especially into more hostile events that would destabilize the region, and it wouldn't be good for any of the countries that have a particular interest with the U.S. And with other Western countries.
Well, we know, Rodrigo, that Claudia Sheinbaum has a very good relationship with President Trump. Could she be the way out of this?
Well, she has offered to mediate the situation. She's been asked several times in his morning press conference, and she's willing to intercede and to achieve a peaceful resolution. I think by now the tensions are so high. We in Mexico have some political tensions as well on the domestic side, and of course we have the USMCA revision coming up next year. So that puts her in a difficult spot to interfere or mediate the situation. But I think if there's someone with the stature, and I mean this in a regional way, she could be a peaceful voice to consider it. I mean, there's a history of Mexico doing this kind of mediations over the past, especially in Venezuela. We had a couple of meetings in the past years here in Mexico City, brokered down by the Mexico government, and it went well. But I think there's a lot to push forward to really achieve a peaceful resolution, right? Obviously, the deployment of military assets in the Caribbean puts it more difficult. But at the end of the day, it's a diplomatic resolution that can be made, and there's some elements to it. I mean, you've seen and we have heard President Trump's willingness to speak to President Maduro and to come to an agreement. Also, the different diplomatic deployments in Venezuela has also have certain aspects of positivity in terms of achieving some kind of deal. But this, of course, would be under U.S. terms, and we hope that Venezuela can settle down and agree to some of these terms.
Well, I just wonder to what extent Sheinbaum or any other leaders in the region are concerned that Venezuela is going to be a playbook for how to handle their countries. President Trump has spoken openly in the past about targeting and attacking cartels inside Mexico. How much concern is there that they could be next?
I think the Venezuela situation reverberates in Mexico fairly well. I think that there's always this notion that the playbook on Venezuela could be the first step into a situation like in Mexico. I think that's difficult to consider, given the special U.S.-Mexican relationship, and especially all the assets and that we have as a binational region, right? I think the North American region has benefited a lot from trade, from immigration, from security cooperation. And of course, we have a 3,000 kilometer that unites the US and Mexico. So I think the security cooperation has been there. There have been good efforts from the government side, the Mexican government side, to alleviate the escalation of illicit drug trade. And of course, there's also this cooperation going on in terms of information and intelligence sharing, which is very, promises a lot. And so I think that to actually consider, the U.S. intervention as quote unquote boots on the ground, it's difficult to really grasp, right? But I do think that it's meant to send a message, and I think not only Mexico, but other countries are, it's a good copy here.